Once the drawings have been printed to PDF, the next steps are to create the rest of the deliverables for the submittal. We'll go back to the ConX Submittals tool. We have Submittal 3, issued for construction, is currently active and selected. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say create the additional deliverables. Instead of from selected parts like we did in the advanced build stage, we're going to do it based on selected drawings. We'll then go back to our drawing list, and I'm going to select all of the drawings that we printed to PDF, which are now for building 1 and are included in this submittal. This is basically all of the 1000 series drawings. Now that the drawings are selected, I'm going to minimize the drawing list and zoom out a little bit in the model so you can see the things that are going to be happening as I create the additional deliverables. Now that we have selected drawings chosen, Submittal 3 active, we're going to first say create the bill of materials. It's going to prompt and ask me if I want to run a numbering. In this case I don't need to do that because everything is up to date, so I'll say no. It's then saying creating bill of material exports in the lower left hand corner. This is very similar to the advanced bill submittal. Notice that the ConX BOM is highlighting both materials in building 1 and building 2, even though we're only doing a fabrication release for building 1. The reason for this is because there's been material submitted to the shop for advanced bill from building 2. Okay, the bill of materials have now been exported. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the NC files. Again, we have our drawings currently selected here in the model, and we're going to say create NC files. We don't need to run a numbering, so we'll say no. It highlights all of the parts associated with those selected drawings, and then it first exports the DSTV files. After the DSTV files are exported, it will automatically generate the plate DXF files from the DSTV files, and it will also open up the FICEP Steel Projects XML export, which is also used by our shop on our beam line. Here is the FICEP Steel Projects XML export here. And again, you're going to have the items already selected in the model, so you'll say with selection, and then you'll turn off describing secondary parts and press start. When you do this, it's going to create 3, or in this particular case, because we're submitting 2 sequences, it should create 2 different XML files which has the sequence number included in the XML file name. So we'll go ahead and say start. If you don't have the FICEP Steel Projects XML export installed on your machine, which is just an extension built on top of Tekla, if that's not already installed on your machine, the website will be opened where you can download it and find additional instructions of how to run the XML export. After all of the CNC files and the FICEP Steel Projects XML files are exported, we need to manually move the FICEP XML files to the Submittal folder. We'll go to the Model folder here, and then we're going to go to the Export XML folder. We can then just go ahead and select these, and we'll cut those, put those into the Submittal 3 folder, and we're just going to paste them directly in the NC Files folder. Now in this particular sample, the way that the file naming structure works is this is supposed to, where it says project-num, that's supposed to be the ConXTech job number, and then _1, 2, 3, and 4 are the Tekla Phase Manager phase numbers that XML is for. Now earlier I was saying that only phase 1 and 2 should have been submitted because that's what we've highlighted. However, there are some ConX standard bought out items like our moment connectors and pieces that we do intentionally span across the entire job, and since those were highlighted from the selected drawings in the drawing list, it also created a small XML file for sequence 3 and sequence 4. So if I go to File, Project Properties, here where it says job number or project number, if I had to change that to 1000 or 2050, whatever the ConX project number is, that number there will be placed on the file names here. Okay, so that shows the XML files. Let's go back to that submittal folder, and we can see here's the NC1 DSTV files for the angles, the DXS as well as the DSTV files for the plates, and then the profiles here, which is basically all the HSS, W flanges, and other rolled section DSTV files there. Also, the export will create inside of the model folder underneath NC files. It'll create these same subfolder structures, so that way you always have a running complete set of all of the CNC files for the entire job is always inside of the NC files folder inside of the model folder. So this is good to just have a complete kind of cross section of what's been exported on the job, whereas the submittals only include the files that are associated with that specific submittal.